Hey guys, welcome to episode number 60 of OG Toys. I'm OG. Today we're continuing our look at Marvel Legends, the revamped 2012 Marvel Legends from Hasbro. We covered Series 1 in episode 59, and today we're going to do an in-depth look at Series 2. Now, Series 2 did have some truly standout characters, and they are absolutely phenomenal, and definitely worthy of the name Marvel Legends. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at some of these spectacular characters. First off, we're going to start with Drax the Destroyer. Now, Drax isn't one of my favorites, without a doubt. I really wish the variant would have been the classic traditional Drax, but this figure actually does stand up quite well. If you kind of remove the old appearance of him from your memory and think this is the new Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, which is going to get their own movie in 2014, it's going to be a cool figure and see how it compares to the new figures I'm sure they'll produce for that movie. Now, the figure itself does have some pretty cool sculpts. It does have a really nice head sculpt. Some cool articulation, some paint apps that aren't too bad. The red tattooing all across his arms, his chest, and his face looks quite nice. He does have a couple blades that fit into the back holster of his belt. Both of them can fit in, no problem. He does have another blade affixed to his forearm, and unfortunately it's sculpted on. Doesn't come off whatsoever. Little disappointment there. But the biggest disappointment for me is this figure size. He is a hulking individual in the comics, and he should definitely be more larger stature, like Pile Driver there in the background. The big monster from the Wrecking Crew who totally stands out, and I would love to see Drax like that. And a variant of his old school Drax would have been awesome. But unfortunately, we got this guy, who's not too bad. I mean, if he was on the shelves, maybe I'd skip him. If he was on sale, I'd probably buy him. Maybe as a custom folder or something like that. But let's go over some of the articulation that he does have. He does have your standard Marvel Legend ball-jointed head, which has some really good movement. Ball-jointed shoulders, a cut at the bicep, double-jointed elbows, and a cut at the wrist. He does have the ab articulation. He's got the waist articulation, ball-jointed leg, double-jointed knee, and a bit of articulation here in his ankle. Not a lot. But that's a pretty much standard Marvel Legend figure articulation, which all these guys have. You can get him some pretty cool poses, and he's actually not too bad a figure. Just when you compare him to the original, it's a shame we didn't get that version involved in this series, but still, pretty cool looking figure. Now, moving on, we got another little bit of an odd choice, is this gal here, Madame Mask. Now, she does have a variant, and the variant is Viper, or also known as Madame Hydra, who includes an extra piece of limb, which we'll get into a little later. But this figure here, she can hold her gun well, much better than Hope Summers could. But if you take a look at the face, she has that golden mask. You can see the flesh tone above her hairline, and her face is kind of plain. Nothing really sultry or sexy or anything really. I mean, it's just a plain looking face and it looks kind of sad actually. But the figure itself is quite nice. She can hold her weapon well, and she does come with a very cool gun. Let's take a look there. Now, Punisher unfortunately does have his Axum gun in Wave 3, but we'll let that fall away. That's okay. And the figure does have some pretty good articulation for a female. She does have the ball jointed articulation right there in the abdominal region. Her head unfortunately sucks. Very limited range of movement. The only other really outstanding characteristic is the belt, which looks great. It includes this golden gun, which does actually look pretty nice and fits into her hand quite well. She's got the trigger finger. You gotta love that. So there you go. Pretty standard articulation for a female. But I just wish, maybe another character would have been better. Or maybe make Viper the actual standard issue instead of the variants. Because this figure, not going to attract a lot of mainstream attention. Or maybe even a lot from the collectors. But if you want to connect all the pieces of Armin Zola, you have to have this figure. So if I didn't have to, wouldn't have bought her. But she's alright. Now, moving forward, let's talk about this guy here. Now, we've got tons of variants of Spider-Man, but this one is definitely the most unique. It's big time Spider-Man. This is the variant, the Future Foundation version, and he is such a far superior figure. I didn't even bother getting the other version because, unfortunately, it looked like crap. You know, the green, the application that they use for the general body just is terrible. It should have been in a black color with the fluorescent green piping, and they just didn't do it. It didn't execute it at all. This figure, though, just goes to show you how good a sculpt it has. You know, that was a terrible big-time Spider-Man to this beautiful Future Foundation Spider-Man. Take a look at that sculpt. Beautiful face, the awesome black eyes, and just the face sculpt is phenomenal. You know, this is one of those things where more is less. You know, it's pretty simplistic. It's just a white body with a pretty complicated looking geometric pattern of all the black throughout the legs, the arms, the chest. So it is a great version of Spidey. One of the, new costumes that he's got for 2012, but a variant which, unfortunately, wasn't too expensive. Some of the variants I've seen this guy go for almost $50, which is retarded. But this thing was about $22 in the comic store, and I have no problem paying that for a variant that looks amazing and truly captures the essence of the Future Foundation Spider-Man. It's got great articulation as well. Really good ball-jointed head, some extra articulation in the wrist to do his spider poses, his spider shooting poses, webs poses. Great head articulation. And a really deep ab crunch, so you can get him into some absolutely awesome poses, as well as an extra hinge for the shoulders. So it's very cool. Definitely worth finding and picking up. Get this guy, you're not going to be disappointed. Future Foundation Spider-Man, the variant, awesome figure. Now moving forward, we got a couple other guys here. We got the Building Connect figure, which is Armin Zola, who is an odd choice again. You know, I never thought I would see this figure. I have a mini-made version, and that's about it. But he is done quite well. The sculpt is just top-notch. Really good use of all these folds and this fabric. They sculpted all that really well. The face is very unique. You know, it's in his chest. Now, as I was saying before, if you got the Viper variant, you actually got a red skull in that chest instead of this human face. So that was kind of cool to see. You know, you got your basic robot head articulation. You know, very tight joints for a Connect figure, Building Connect. Terex, unfortunately, kind of loosened up a little bit, especially in his ab crunch area. But this thing is solid and tight, and man, he looks really cool. One cool thing I saw is this articulation on his ankle. He does have that extra joint to give him a heck of a lot of range of motion. It's kind of different, and I'm not sure why they gave it to him, but hey, looks good. And the figure itself, again, you know, it's a very unique villain for Captain America. I'm glad they made him, because they probably wouldn't make him in a regular figure, just because he's such an odd, different, not very well-known character. But glad they made him. Now, moving on, we got the final four. These are definitely the four best figures out of the entire series. And we'll start off with Fantomics. Now, I'm not even sure if I pronounced that right, but this guy's part of the Uncanny X-Force, and he is totally badass. Great looking figure. You know, again, very simplistic design. It's just basically a white body with black lines painted through it. A really nice done belt to holster both his weapons. And the coat here, it's just a soft rubber coat, and it is removable. It's a damn hard to get off, but I had to see if it came off. And it looks really cool without it, actually. But it did take some time, so be careful if you're going to take it off. You know, use patience. But the figure itself is really nice. He's got a cool head sculpt, great detail on the mask, cool weapons as well that fit into his holster. You can just pop those in to the side here. I like the buckle. You know, it's got that bright red X. And you can just swap these in, and boom. You can have them sticking outside the coat if you wanted to, or you can put them back in. Really cool character. You know, he's been around for a little while, and he's really made an impact in the pages of Uncanny X-Force. You know, that's such a cool comic. Definitely pick it up if you're interested in seeing Archangel, Wolverine, Deadpool, Cyclops. And this guy kicks some major butt. Very nicely done comic. Great artwork, cool storylines. I'm really glad to see this guy. You know, if you've seen the San Diego Comic-Con convention news, they did release a 3-pack of X-Force figures of Archangel and Wolverine and Cyclops, so you definitely want to get that to complete your X-Force team with Fantomics. Very nicely done figure. Moving on, we got this big bruiser, which, wow, I was not really planning on getting this guy, but I was going to get the original Thunderball, who's this gentleman right here, and I saw the variant, and I was just really impressed with how cool he looks. He is just a massive figure. You can see towered over everybody. He's got just an awesome face sculpt, really evil villain character from Marvel's Wrecking Crew. And it looks like they will be producing some more characters in the Wrecking Crew in future waves. So I'm definitely going to pick up Thunderball because I definitely want to complete this assortment. It's very cool. He does come with this massive ball and chain as well. Sticks into his hand really tightly. Nice. Now he does have this loose belt. Really wish it would have just adhered onto his body, but you can basically push it down a bit and it stays pretty firm. Again, just a monster of a figure. And he does have a weird set of articulation. He's got articulated toes. I don't know why, because it really doesn't do much. It doesn't lift up very much. But it's an odd little feature, and he is definitely a very cool variant that you want to pick up. And he wasn't too expensive. He was about 19 bucks, you know. And we'll go over price in a little bit over near the end of the review. But definitely a figure you want to pick up to build that Wrecking Crew team for to fight your Avengers. Awesome figure. And moving on, we got the final two. These are my two favorites, and I am so happy that they came out. This guy here, Dakin, I've been following his comic, his appearances in Dark Avengers, Dark Wolverine, Wolverine Origins. It's not oranges, but they've just really introduced an awesome character, and they made a beautiful figure here. He has some really great sculpting. His head sculpt is just phenomenal. He's got the cool mohawk flowing through there. He's got a real badass look about him. Now, he does have a variant, which is a masked version, and unfortunately, I've never seen it. I've never seen the masked version, and I would definitely pick it up when I do see it eventually. He does have his mask on the back here, which is removable, I guess, if you really wanted to pop that off his head, but it looks cool just hanging off his neck there. He does have his bone claws, his wicked tattoo that runs down his arm. And he does have toe articulation as well, quite a bit deeper than pile drivers. And odd choice, but I guess Wolverine, you can pose him into any kind of pose, really. So give him that extra little bit of articulation in his toes and his shoulders as well. Yes, there has that extra ball joint there. So a beautiful figure. I'm extremely happy to have this guy. He's awesome. Definitely find him, pick him up. You're not going to be disappointed. Very well done. And finally, I got our last character, who is definitely one of my favorites out of both Series 1 and 2. This is Bucky Barnes, Captain America. Now, he has really nice shiny metallic paint on his chest in the red, white, and blue. He does have a flat black running through his entire body. And his boots, unfortunately, you can't really see it, does have a bit of a gloss to it, and it does have some really nice textured work on the cuffs. Really shows an intricate pattern on it. He does have a gun, of course, which fits into this holster, and he has a trigger finger, so it's perfectly attached into his hand. He does have a knife as well that is removable, which is good to see. And his shield does come off his wrist. It just has a little clip, just like the Steve Rogers figure. Pop that into his back as well, so you could have it attached and out of the way. And this is without a doubt one of my coolest figures that I own. He's in my top 5 of best figs. Great articulation, you know, beautiful stylized figure. I'm really glad they went with the metallic paint instead of just a flat dull color. And definitely one of the best out of Marvel Legends. So there you go, guys. That's Series 2. Stay tuned for a third continuation, I guess, third part of the Marvel Legends series, where we compare the old and the new. And stay tuned for some absolutely awesome Captain America action. Alright, guys, take care.